I've never heard of a VTuber have to talk about how authentic they are, largely because they don't have to. While we've seen a small rise, predominantly in the West, of people who want to do VTubing mostly as a grift, I have seen in large part how many VTubers are taking part in that thing that used to happen on the internet. That thing that everyone keeps claiming they want to see return. They're just having fun. And they're having fun in a way that, while they are technically playing a character, that character is a lot of times largely just an extension of themselves. I'm sure a lot of them have bad days but come online with a fake happy persona.
Don't cry. Okay.
But that's something human beings do in general. VTubers have become a lot less niche, in the sense of you can't really pin down exactly what a VTuber fan or community is. It's a lot like anime. There's different genres and flavors that attract a whole array of people.
I see all y'all out there with your uwus and your auras. So let me know. Is this what you want? Is this what you wanted?
Some prefer to be more sentimental.
I missed your optimism, Sana. Oh no, I'm gonna cry for real. Wait. Oh no, the music.
Some were comical.
God, I can't wait for Landon.
For what?
Landon, please not.
You picked the wrong Some schizophrenic.
I'm gonna fucking shoot up a Walmart!
Some like to sing, others play games, others rant about current events. Some keep things nice and wholesome, others, well... There's also a variety of companies, all with their own unique feels, that people can become fans of. The top VTuber company is Hololive Productions, which have started in Japan and have their own English branch, Hololive EN. Another top VTuber company is called Idol, who are quite transparent with their business practices to show how much love and support they give their talents. Another famous company likes to be the exact opposite of that and tends to treat the talent like disposable trash, though we won't focus on that for this video. Another company that you should definitely never support is called Face Connect, and I'm not just saying that because the top talent insulted my website live on... Okay, no, that's enough. We don't need to go more into that. I thought I cut that clip quicker. You can ignore it. It's fine. Oh, hello, chat. Good evening to everyone who is joining us, going to be joining us, or is watching the VOD. I am everyone's favorite Houston-based anime-themed tea company, or at least in the top 10, I hope, the Teaman. Got me some... I don't even know what tea... Oh, Ultra Instinct, of course. For those who saw my tweets yesterday, fun little story. So, I woke up this morning feeling pretty good, thinking, okay, it must be around 5 a.m., my usual wake-up time. Let's go ahead and get the day going. Then I look at my phone, and it's 11:40 something p.m. I slept for about 2.5 hours. And I thought that my sleep was done. And so I spent most of the night just kind of letting my mind go to places. I know nothing of tea, so the only tea company I know, I will take that. More business for me. So, today's main focus. Actually, before we do that, you know what I want to do? The clip that we just watched, I'm going to cut off the shilling stuff, but I want us to finish that video, actually, because it'll be relevant to, well, this whole thing. Really, I should have played it in the last VTuber stream I did, but as you all know, I was getting sick, and just things never go the way you want them to. Share, is it on screen? It is. I'm going to make it... Yeah, you don't need to see me for this. We're going to finish this up. There's only a little bit left. And then we will talk about, well, the point of this entire thing. Let more people trickle in, because I know some people said they're going to be late, so I'm going to give them enough time to come on in. And whatever you do, you should never, ever check out Face Connect here on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Except Nasa-chan. You should go make an exception for her.
Da, 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 da.
God, she's cute! Anyway, back on track, one of the more interesting things about how much VTubers make is that they almost never actually ask you to support them. On occasion they'll remind you that you can sign up for memberships and whatnot, but you'll never see anything like this.
And it doesn't matter how broke you are, if you have time to watch Twitch, you have $10, truly. If you don't have $10, you probably don't have time to watch Twitch because you should be working, you should be trying to earn money. It's not a ton, it's not like a ton of money. So being like, I'm broke, I can't afford to sub, that doesn't really track. What you mean to say is, I'm so irresponsible with my money, I can't support the entertainment that I enjoy.
What this means is that, with nothing more than a cartoon avatar, VTubers cannot rely on their own physical appearances to draw on viewers. They need to be personally entertaining in what they do and how they speak in order to draw in and keep an audience. Having a cute avatar can only go so far, especially when you have so much competition. And while the tech of VTubers has evolved considerably over the years, it is the personalities of the people behind them that matter. You will not be able to replace the human behind the avatar and expect to keep the same crowd. That is not how this works. The point is, with influencers, they bring out their real face and name, then create a fake persona to project onto it. VTubers create a fake avatar and use that fake avatar to project much of their real selves onto it. And like I said before, they are, quite simply, just having fun. Seeing as how VTubing originated in Japan, it's yet another example of the same things we've been seeing in fictional media over here in the West. Every single Marvel movie is the same. Women are always strong and independent and invincible. They throw up incredible amounts of flashy CGI that at this point just looks hollow and dead and used to cover up the utter lack of any personality or story. People are tired of being preached to and just want to experience something fun. That's what VTubers seem to be, at least for me, and it shows in the fandom as well, as many people have shown incredible levels of artistic talent for their favorite VTubers, or favorite company. Does the fandom have some creepy losers? Yeah, any fandom of this size will have those. But frankly, the attitude I've seen from a lot of people surrounding VTubers and their fans is a lot like those old people who don't view video games as art, or who think anime is those Chinese cartoons with the yellow mouse. While the community does make jokes, they do make an effort to keep the creepy people out. This is why I've grown to like VTubers and the various communities. In an age when everyone is carefully crafting a fake image of themselves for undeserved fame and money, I have found a group that is just trying to have fun.
You're nice.
No, you're nice.
Fuck you. You're nice.
Are you trying to start a fight? Is that what you're trying to do? Mokocha, you're trying to sound threatening just... Why is okay? You're doing a really awful job at that. I'm doing my best.
Why you flat and short? Why your mama adopting you, huh?
You never considered a horse penis as a masturbatory aid? See? I go fast and I fall. See? That's what you wanted from me. You wanted me to go fast, and that's what happens when I try to go fast. I also just would like to say the same. I would like to share. Okay. I would also like to share. I'm emotional. That's all. I would like to also say thank you.
I'm emotional.
Say thank you to this absolutely incredible team of the most lovely people, my gen mates that have changed my life for the better. I just want to say thank you to you guys, each one of you. You've been so incredible this past 6 months.
Thank you too.
And I want to say thank you to all of you that are watching, no matter where you come from. Thank you also.
Oh my god, you're crying. Go down. Don't cry.
Can you make me cry?
Me too, dog.
It's fine.
Oh my god.
Well, okay. I think that's it. Oh,
Sorry.
Womp womp. 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 Womp womp.
when did this video come out? January of 2024. So a little over a year and a half ago, I made that video. And since then, and since before then as well, I have had many people come to me and ask, "Hey, Teaman, why don't you make your own VTuber company? Why don't you get this started? You should add on top of everything else you're doing and start a VTuber company." Some have been more direct, others have been a little bit more sly about it, but the message frequently ends up going in that direction. I've had dozens upon dozens, at least 50 some people, from just where I can recall, make some kind of comment about me starting a VTuber agency. Well, okay guys, you think it's so easy? You think it's possible for me to do it? Let's do it. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Where is my background music? Background audio. Give me 1 second. Why are you not here? Play. There we go. I don't need you up anymore. Okay. So, you guys want me to start a VTuber agency? Well, first of all, I need funding for that VTuber agency. Funding is important, guys. So, yes, Fishman just does nothing and wins. Turn it down a little bit. But Fishman just does nothing and wins. But as the thumbnail says, I'm a business cat. And you know what cats do with fish? They eat them. So watch out, Fishman. The Teaman is coming for you. Hey, speaking of cats, you can see one in the background. Step 1. Start immediately in 100k in debt. Well, we're gonna find out what exactly the cost will be. Because we're gonna do this together, chat. You and me. We're gonna figure out exactly how much it's gonna cost to start a VTuber agency, as well as the rules behind it. So let me go here real quick. Actually, no, I need to go here, share, screen, and online notepad. Make sure you guys can see it. Yes, you can. Good. So we're gonna have 3 sections to put in notes. Section 1, the overall theme. What is this VTuber agency? Section 2, the contract. What's gonna be in the contract with the talents? And my personal favorite, section 3, the costs. We're gonna try and figure out just how much stuff will cost. And remember, this is participatory, so I'm gonna be asking you guys to help me out. Because it's not gonna be just me. Okay, so let's start out with this. First of all, let me pull up my notes here, because I also have a section of notes. Okay, got that. Okay, so here is... Yep, I knew you're gonna be late. There's a lot of people that were gonna be late for this one, they said. So, in order to be different from the other VTuber agencies, I gotta, believe it or not, be different. I know, crazy idea. So, how can me, as a humble Teaman, be different from the other ones? Well, there's one major factor that separates me from other VTuber agencies. I already have a business. I already have a brand, a recognizable face. People expect things from me. So, with that in mind, that is where we're going to be working from. Theme suggestion, Eastern Dragons. I already have a theme suggestion in mind, Mr. Lion Man. Eastern Dragons, well, I forgot to write notes about the second phase. For now, we're going to focus on the first phase. I'll explain what I'm going to do with the first phase that's going to be a little bit different than what people are expecting. So in the video that we played earlier, I talked about how what VTubers tend to do is they make a fake persona, or like a fake avatar, but then they put themselves into that character. And they're just basically playing themselves in a slightly different, form. I'm gonna do things differently with my tea shop. So what we're going to do, or my VTuber agency, let's say. What I'm going to do is they are not going to just be themselves. They are going to be playing a character. And those characters are going to be... You picked the wrong house, fool! Thank you to Prime Lord Gaming for subscribing. Why has it not come up to... Come on. I want to thank you properly. Okay. Streamlabs sucks. Stream Elements is nothing but bugs. Is there any good streaming service that I can use? This is kind of ridiculous. Okay, whatever. What was I saying? Oh yeah. We're gonna do things differently because the VTubers are going to be, share this tab instead, the tea waifus. So we're gonna take one example to start with. The apple cider tea. This tea waifu will make her the first VTuber. She will be the first one on our list. Let me just go ahead and click. So you guys have the picture to look at. Full screen it. There we go. There we go. So now I can see chat. OBS. Well, this basically, it's Streamlabs OBS. Is what I'm basically using. So, yeah. So the plan would be for this totally real VTuber agency is she's gonna have a name. She's gonna have a list of things that she likes, things that she dislikes, a backstory for her family, a name. Her name's gonna be Jackie Smith. The reason why for that name? First name, Jackie. If you didn't know, this tea used to be named after Applejack from My Little Pony, back when it was much, much bigger. That whole line of the pony teas. They sold really, really well leading the whole My Little Pony craze, but after that died down, well, they were not doing so well because My Little Pony had a bit of a reputation by that point, so I had to change the names for all of them. So, Jackie, named, slyly after Applejack, and then Smith, Smith Apples, Granny Smith Apples. And so she will have a Granny Smith that she can talk about. But again, this character's likes and dislikes and all that other stuff, her accent, everything will be based on the character itself. Which is different from the way people usually do it. You have a new one presenting, like, let's say, let's take Face Connect. What was Face Connect's last premiering talents? I can't even remember. Well, let's just take the ones I remember. Like Amy, Muyu, and those characters. Amy was the hamster, Muyu was the cow. They say, I'm the cow VTuber, I'm the hamster VTuber, but ultimately they're still more or less being themselves. And occasionally throwing in, oh yeah, hamster joke, or something along those lines. With this, it'll be different. They'll basically have to be acting. Invaders, I'm thinking of like brand new talent, not bringing in old talent, or already established talent, I should say. Reminded of Flavor, even though it was a running joke. Well, this isn't too far from that. This will be good for certain people who want to be VTubers. There's some people who, when they have to talk about themselves, they get stage fright. They're not properly able to communicate stuff about themselves. Or they think that their life is boring, so they end up being all tongue-tied, they don't want to talk about it, things along those lines. This will give them a chance to be a VTuber, but they don't have to be themselves. They don't have to talk about their lives, their history. Their history will already be laid out. So at the very least, it'll be good practice for them. So we go back to this tab, overall theme. At VTubers will be based on existing tea waifus. We'll have pre-made backstories, likes/dislikes, personality traits, etc. And we can get creative with this. So let me go back here. Close you, share this tab instead. Go back. So from these examples that we have right here, And then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Let's say I turn Hood into a VTuber as well. Well, she's gonna have a bit of a backstory. She is a fighting warrior princess who uses fire attacks. No, she's based loosely off Azula from Avatar Last Airbender, if you couldn't tell. Also, what I'm gonna do when the time comes, which might even be soon, is so I have, this tea when the Fire Nation attacked, and I also have the Earth Kingdom. What I'm gonna do to make them a little bit more separated from the original intent is I'm gonna call this one, and then everything changed when the Fire Kingdom attacked. And then the other tea will be the Earth Nation. Huh? Huh? You see what I did there, chat? Yeah, I'm a clever one. So because of that, she will have similar mannerisms to Azula, being a little bit more, slow talking, cunning, conniving. When she plays games, she will play games, and if she has a choice, she will take the fire element if she has choices in what she can do. Because that's what the character will do. A Mermaid's Tale. The way I envisioned this character if she became a VTuber is she lives her whole life. Basically, think Little Mermaid. Just think Little Mermaid. She's lived her whole life under the Sea Kingdom. Or Sea Empire, I don't know, whatever you want to go with. I have not gone this far into writing the backstories for this one. And so she is very ignorant of the customs of up here on land. So however we write the character, and I can work with the talent, I can work with the VTuber behind the scenes of how we should make this character. What's her level of ignorance? How much does she know? How much does she not know? What will she do to figure things out? How will she act when certain situations arise? Etc, etc. And we can build it from there. Now we got anything else here? Combo breaker. Find a talent who is really big into fighting games. Make her main thing that she plays fighting games. That'll be her big shtick. And if not direct fighting games like, I don't know, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, etc., then just other games that have combat as main focus. Souls-like games, for example. That'll be her big thing. She'll talk a big talk. She got the nipples. What more do you need? So this is some idea of how I would go about doing all of this. Yes, legally distinct. Yes, a pre-made IP for upcoming talents. So there is some other things that we need to talk about, chat. About this. My biggest thing is going to be I cannot get fucked out of this. I cannot get my entire thing shut down. I cannot go the route of V-Shoujo. I can't be losing this money. I can't sabotage my entire business for that business. So, I need to up the businessman part of all of this. Not just the Teaman, the businessman. I need to make sure that this shit runs right. The former Kimono Friends Coyote VTuber will be ideal for your fighting game slots. If she wishes, yeah. I am not sure who that is, but if she is ideal, she will be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Audition for this totally realistic role. And so because of this, I have to lay down the law when I can. Money will be an issue that I have to be concerned with. Because I cannot let the business go under. Check out the notes. Alright. Cool, let's go back. First of all, do that. Go here, and should just tab instead. Contract. Okay. Contract will require lawyer to be clear and ironclad. And with that, costs lawyer fees. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just add question marks because I have no idea how much it will cost to get a lawyer to do this kind of stuff. But we got the first cost, the lawyer fees. Okay, next question. To have the VTuber do this, we need a good model. I cannot go as high as, Saba or Mimi Nightmare, Doki Bird, them dropping to 10k and that stuff. So we'll go halfway. We'll go the VTuber model 5,000. 5,000 for the model, the toggles, and everything else. Because I can't make it cheap. One of the things that'll be different if I launch a VTuber agency is that with other agencies, you don't really care too much about their connection with the agency itself. So let's say for Face Connect, if NASA has a bad stream for whatever reason, keeps disconnecting or just thinks it's not as exciting, whatever it might be, some issue comes up, no one is going to look at that and say, wow, that Face Connect company, they're doing bad. They're going to look at NASA's stream. That's not going to be the case with me. Since they're representing my company and my teas, there's a direct connection between that. So, do I want to talk about that right now? No, hold on. Now let's back it up. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Something that we need to get across in the contract. I will own 100% of the IP that they use. This should obviously be non-negotiable. These are my tea waifus. They cannot take it and run away with it. Some people might not like this, but that's the way it has to be. You'd be waiting 9 months for that model too. That's another thing, having to wait for it. Let's see what's going on here. Order into IRL training. Oh, you're talking about a combo breaker, that waifu? As somebody else put it, that would be expensive to do full body tracking in 3D models. That's a bit much. I mean, if we grow into it, I'll do it. But as of right now, yeah, that ain't happening. Yeah, we'll talk about the portions. So, in order to get this right, how much will I pay? Oh, I forgot to do this. Minimum. Come on. Payment per month. What I have decided is per month they're gonna start out $5,000. Now this is higher than what other companies do. Other companies, what they do, from what I understand, there's gotta be exceptions, but they do a much smaller minimum, and then they do the split. I'm asking for more than usual from the talents, and I recognize that. And since I am demanding more from them, I need to pay them more, because that is how this works. I demand more, I pay more. Simple as. So minimum payment per month. So let's ask this chat. After they cross the $5,000 mark for that month via super chats, etc., and everything else, what should the split be after that point? Give me your thoughts. Your honest to God thoughts. What should the split be after that point? From what I understand, and this might be wrong, but this is just from what I've heard, for most other companies, the split is either 85-15 or 80-20. So, let's say they get a $10 super chat, whatever is left over, they get $8 and the company gets $2. From what I understand. Here is a few things we gotta think about. Because again, we gotta think in terms of businessmen, not VTuber fans. I learned this with my tea business the first time around. You cannot go into these businesses thinking solely about how. Let me rephrase that. You cannot go into it thinking solely about what your love is for whatever you're doing. That's gonna exist one way or another, and it'll come back, but you can't let that be the main driving force. Remember, when I first did this business in 2010, all I need is love and passion. That'll guide me. No, it won't. Especially not with this company. Not with the VTubers. That's not gonna work. So really think like businessmen. What should the split be? One person says $5,000 a month is a really good minimum pay, so I think going 80-20 is more fair. Alright, so let's go with that for now. Oh, other things you gotta think about. But let's say I launch this thing, but it's kind of a dud. It takes too long. What's gonna happen if we don't hit that point until 1 year after they launch? Let's do some math. So let's say between everything they average out only about $3,000 a month. Where in the beginning, they're not even making 1,000, but closer to the end, a little bit over 4,000. So let's say $3K a month times 12 months equal. In the first year, if we don't get this going, just purely on paying them, I am down $36,000 a month. Well, not a month. $36,000 so far for that year. Plus the VTuber model. Plus the lawyer fees. Plus advertising. Plus the money I put into making merch. All of this stuff. So, guys, if you want this thing to succeed, that super chat button is right there. Give me those super chats. Go buy some tea. Donate on the website. We gotta get a lot of money in to make this thing work. See, we're already off to a bit of a rocky start, aren't we? As a guy who still struggles to pay his rent, I can't risk losing at bare minimum $36,000 in the first year before any money starts to get made. Do you see the problem with just asking me to just start a VTuber company? Go back to my notes here. Oh, other stuff. Is her hardware up to snuff? Can she run all the things that she needs to? Or does she have like a 9070 graphics card? Does she have the right type of phone? Does she need another phone? All of these questions need to be answered. I need them to be performing at top performance. I can't do anything less. Quality is what people expect from me. So, I might need to pay for a new computer or whatever else. So, cost of new hardware? Again, I don't know. It depends on what she needs. You see how this is starting to snowball a little bit, chat? Okay. The hardware, paying me, I got that, I got that, I got that, we talked about that. So let's ask, actually let me do this real quick. Go here. I'm gonna go to this page, give me a second, chat. One more page. Share this tab instead. Right. Secrets of the songstress. Again, if you didn't know, the whole point of this tea is that for anyone who drinks, anyone who does a lot of singing, podcasting, things like this, just a lot of talking, I specifically made this tea for those people to soothe their throat. As you can see, I'm sold out, that's why I'm not drinking it right now. So let's say I make her into a VTuber. Her main thing is going to be singing. Singing the songs. What else will we do? So the main thing is singing songs, just having a lovely voice. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Reading. Maybe she could read stories to people. Read Lord of the Rings, maybe? I don't know. Read creepy copypastas. Basically, just be really talented with the voice. So let's say this. Okay, let me do this. Go here. Full screen. Not you. There she is. Okay, can I close this, please? Hide the bar. Annoying. There we go. Just seeing what's going on in chat. 5,000. Buying tea is a lot more efficient. Yes. Actually, no. With all the debts that I have right now, with like the working capital costs and whatnot, doing, let's say, $10 on YouTube gets me more money overall than doing $10 on the website if you buy a tea, because you also have to take out the tea. However, with the way I get my working capital loans, the more money I make off the website, the more they give me later on down the line. So it's a bit of a balancing act. I cannot really say which one is better, but I take both, and I view them equally, at least as of now. So do whichever one you wish to do. Tia's overhead, the streamers would at break even be advertising? Yes, I have to also think they'll also be advertising my teas. Something I think about. A top of line computer? Not that much, because when I got mine, that was top of line. It was 4,000 total, including paying the guys to help me make it. Wait, which one's the throat shooting one? Secrets of the Songstress, Pippi. Secrets of the Songstress. Not evaluated by the FDA, so officially, no, it doesn't do that. But I let you pretend like it does. Wink, wink, yada, yada. How well does it work? Well enough. I made it. Alright. So here is my next question about all this. I talked about this, I think, in a previous live stream, or maybe I talked about it in the Discord. I would give the talents the option to go the route of an idol. So let's say I hire somebody who is a singer, and they want to get better at singing, they want to get better at voice work, better at acting, better at changing the different types of voices that they do for different characters, things like that. I am willing to pay for that, because the better they are at it, the more money I get, because more people like it. Here's the thing, however. Let's go back to this tab. What should the consequences be? You gotta think like this, unfortunately, whether you like it or not. Let's say they decide, okay, I'm gonna go down the idol route. I respond, okay, how about a 10-week-long class to improve your singing? Okay. Week 5 comes around. I don't want to do this anymore. I changed my mind. What do you mean you changed your mind? You decided on this. I'm now out that money. There needs to be incentives and punishments to make sure this doesn't happen. Because again, I cannot get screwed from the talents. I need to be concerned with that. And it's not even necessarily in an offensive way. It's... Let me think of how to properly put this. As I have heard from a lot of other VTubers, these women are really bad at keeping track of time and meeting appointments and things along those lines. They just are. Things get hectic, things get crazy, they get overwhelmed. I get it. That doesn't mean I don't crack the whip when I have to. And it's a crack of love for this whip. It could be a case of you want to do this, but just right now, for this particular week, You have had enough. You are tired. You just don't think you go anymore. So I gotta, at one hand, understand where they're coming from, but on the other hand, tell them no, you sign up for this. So tell me if you think this is fair. I'm sorry about that. If they choose the idle route, and this will be laid out very clearly in the contract, so there's no confusion. So let's say we do the 10-week course. These are just examples I got. Don't be that guy and be the actually, if you do, just use your imagination. 10-week course. Let's say the 10-week course cost me $2,000. $200 a day. Or a week, or whatever. In a 10-week course, they have to finish it and do at least 3 streams where the talents that they learned is put into effect. After that, they're home clear. But if they quit at any point, they have to pay me back for that time. This has 2 purposes. One, it covers any losses I might have when I'm just being, you know, that type of person. But 2, it'll make them not want to quit. It'll make them go, oh crap, I am 7 weeks in. I don't want to pay back $700. That's kind of a lot. I can't do that. So it kind of forces them to be better. And to even sign the contract, it's a 2-way street. They have to want it, but I have to want it as well. I have to be able to look at them and say, you know, you've got a good singing voice. I believe you can take it even further. Sure thing. Let's do it. I will sign you up for these classes. There is a chance I might go, you kind of do this for a hobby. I don't think you're going to really finish this, so I don't want to take that chance on you. You got to show me something to make it work. And hell, we can use Pippi as an example. What was the last thing you said, Miss Pippi? There we go. Pippi with the smile. If you guys don't know, Miss Pippi is a VTuber who plays musical instruments. She plays the flute, she plays the shamisen, and I think she plays other things, I can't remember. So let's say she ends up being the secret set of songstress. And she decides, or we decide, that she should get better at the musical instruments. Because when she gets better, I get more sales. Simple as. I have listened to her. I mean, that's the reason I reached out to her. Because I listened to music she was playing. Oh, there we go. She said a thing. Scrolling down, scrolling down. There we go. The Shinobu, Shakuhachi, Hichiriki, all Japanese flutes, and shamisen, learning Eru 2, E-R-H-U. So she's learning a lot of stuff. So if I was working with her, I'm like, okay, let's give you shamisen lessons. 10-week course. You gotta finish it. And then, you gotta give me 3 concerts. 3 concerts. Either we do a music video, and we'll talk about hiring clippers and whatnot a little bit later. Music video, or just a live stream where you take people's requests, or something along those lines. When you do that, you're in the clear. You basically got 3 lessons. So, going back here. I can pay for various lessons if both of us agree, but there needs to be a clear penalty if they don't finish. Costs. Bam. Lessons and classes. Again, no idea. And to be frank, some of these will most likely be mandatory. Because if you look at the other people, they also do that type of stuff. Acting classes, acting lessons. That's something I could do. Something I probably have to do. Because they need to get better at what they're doing. Again, it's my ass on the line. I am the one who will suffer if things go bad. Would I bring on male talents for the tease? Yeah, I could definitely do that. Give me a sec. Bam. Okay, so we got the lessons and classes. Okay, we talked about the hardware. Going around. Hey, we just talked about that. Okay, we talked about that. Oh, we also forgot. After $5,000 mark, the split becomes 80 20. Where 80% goes to her, 20% goes to me. Will that include... Let's be clear. So, coupon code... Because let's say they get a coupon code, will only be 10% back. The reason why is that when they use the coupon code, it's 10% off, and they get 10% back, so that's already 20% down. And so that's why that works. In order to keep them from screwing me, because that's going to be a theme, that's already been a theme, there will be minimum advertising quota. Not sales quota. Not sales. If they get no sales, that kind of sucks. So be it. The managers will look into it. It could be they're doing a half-assed job. We'll work on it. Or it could be it's just not working. Things happen. Trust me, I am well aware things happen. And so minimum, I gotta know the specific numbers. We're doing this live, chat. We're doing this live. But this is just a way to motivate them to just give that shout out for the code. It's not gonna be excessive because people, let's add that. Not excessive advertising. People don't like that. So let's just say one quick reminder per week. I think that's reasonable. Just once a week, quick reminder. Okay. Let's continue on with the VTuber and what I expect from them. $5,000 a month. That's a decent amount, assuming they're doing 40 hours a week. However, I can't expect them to be live streaming 40 hours a week. That's 8 hours a day. RIP their voice. No one's going to be able to keep up with that energy. I do not want a Hassan Piker to be running the avatars. That's bad. That's bad, chat. Ryder0, thank you for joining us. Raid? Who's raiding me? What's going on here? Why has the rating thing not come up yet? I should have a rating thing that goes, I don't know, something. But thank you to the people who have rated us. We're talking about what we're gonna do if we open up a VTuber agency. That's where we are right now. Okay, so costs, contract, or should it be? This be overall theme. Well, we'll keep it here. Okay. How many hours? Let's just go with this. 3 hours a week. 2 hours stream. So at the roughly 6 hours a week streaming to start. And maybe we'll ramp it up as time goes on. If we keep it to just that, what are they going to be doing with the other time? There's the acting, there's the lessons. There's gotta be something. They have to make it worth my while. We have a lot of VTubers here. So let me ask you, all the VTubers in the chat right now, Please answer. Squeaky, hi. A lot of people have met you today. Yeah. There she is. Squeaky. Squeaky, you want to say something? What? What are you doing? I'm working. I gotta pay to get your lady balls cut off. Come on. You gonna just lay down? Yeah? Squeaky. You gotta do something. Oh, God. What's up? Yeah? You wanna squeak into the mic? Squeaky. Oh, God. Don't step on the... She was stepping on the keyboard. Last thing I need is the cat to cancel everything. Yeah, hi. This cat is very adorable. The reason I call her Squeaky is because when I first got her and I was giving her the trial run, yeah, she kept squeaking, so I kept going, hey, you're squeaking. Why are you squeaking so much? Why are you squeaking? And when she would be, far away and squeaking, I would say it again, Squeaky, what are you doing? Why are you squeaking so much? And so eventually she decided that's her name. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just call you Squeaky because you respond to it. Yeah, are you done? What are you doing? You wanna squeak? Give money, chat. Give super chats so I can pay for this cat. Are you done? She likes the butt scratches. Okay, that's enough. Nope. No more. Okay. So I think behind the scenes dev would be work for some of your talents. See, that's the thing. Talents generally have a manager to help them out with that stuff. So, one of the costs I would need... Yes, she is plenty happy. Yes, I got it. So let's go back to this. Bam. Costs. Talent managers. Which again, I don't know how much they cost. But I would pay them something similar. And aside from them, clippers and editors. Or as somebody put it here, I make them do it themselves until they get more successful. Does that sound fair? So let's say I hired this VTuber. She only has to stream 3 times a week, at least 2 hours each stream. The more she streams, the more money she makes. So it's better for her. But I'm gonna need her to do more stuff to make that money. If they're expected to be around and available, the managers would likely need to be paid more than the talents. That would be fair so they can learn stuff to help themselves. Let me see if I missed anything. Scrolling up. Something I believe I'm good at is creating unique systems for Twitch redeems. Well, that's something they could do as well. Video editing, prepping ideas. So what we could do, thinking about it, is we could change the price and how we do it. What we could do for the pricing is the $5,000 a month is the full-time gig. If you do the streaming plus all the other work. You do the clipping, you do the editing, do your own stuff, and work from there. Ooh, that's another thing I didn't think about. The ad revenue, not just super chats, but the ad revenue from the clips and whatnot. How would that work? Because now we have a different way we could do stuff. So let's say the talent has a clipper that does this kind of stuff. So now we have a three-way split. We gotta pay the talent, we gotta pay the company, and we gotta pay the clipper. How should we break that down? 70, 15, 15 maybe? I don't know. Oops. Ryan North asks a good question. Consideration for contracts. Would your talent be exclusive? Not allowed to stream elsewhere. The only way I could really allow it... Yeah, I'm not gonna outsource to India, Pippi. The only way I would allow it is if the character they play on my end, like let's say they can do a good southern accent and do the apple cider avatar. If they have another job or another VTuber that they do, if no one can figure out that A is B, then I could allow it. Could. It would need to be under discussion. We would need to negotiate how that will work. So let's say... Squeaky, stop that! She chews on everything! 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 Yeah, you! Okay, enough of looking at my tethered shirt. There we go. Alright. I think the clip situation should be more of a 60 to me, 30 clipper, 10% talent. That could be the way we go. Trying to think of more stuff that we could be doing with this. Would the clippers be on hand? Like I hire them as being my clippers, or would I go with freelancers, independent folk, and just look around and see who can do what? Also keeping in mind there's people who just kind of do it for free, but it will need to be on their website. Rizoa, thank you for joining us. And these are all by the tea. By the tea, you bloody mother bloody. Let me check my notes. Maybe I talked about this. Coupon code. Okay, still have to pay the manager. Okay. Potentially multiple talents. I got that. I'm talking about that right now. Okay. So these are all the different type of things that will need to be considered for just one VTuber we're talking about right now. And you see how chaotic this is all getting. How much stuff we have to do. And the streams with the sign off. Thank you. Come again. Do I have any Indian themed waifus right now? No, I do not. If I did, probably the Oolong Chai would be the best bet, or the Wizard Familiar Griffin. Probably something like that. Alright. So with all of these things in mind, so let's go back and just look at the notes and see what we got. Overall theme. VTubers will be based on existing T-waifus. They will have pre-made backstories, likes and dislikes, personality traits, etc. Ooh, that's a thing. Contract. But, penalties for breaking kayfabe. For those who don't know what kayfabe is, think pro wrestlers. Let's say... Let me pull up a picture. WWE images. Let's go. This will work. Pop this up. Come on, open image, new tab. Alright, share this image instead. Make sure you guys can see it. Okay. So, this guy on the left, he is Glenn Jacobs. He is currently the mayor for some town, I don't know. Before he was the mayor, he played this character right here, Kane. The backstory of Kane was that he was the brother of another wrestler who everyone thought burned to death in a family fire that the brother started. But he lived. and he hides behind the mask because his face was scarred and disfigured. And that's why he wears that. He's got psychological problems. Mentally, he's just not all there. And so he is known as the Big Red Machine. He destroys everything around him. He's got no loyalty. He just smashes things. Now, obviously, what I just described is not him. That's not what he is actually like in real life. But that's what the character is. And what I just described is kayfabe. So, if this character, in the middle of the ring, during a match, let's say he pulled off his mask so everyone can see that he's got a normal face, and like takes the mic and goes, yeah, I'm just not feeling it today, guys. I don't know. You know, the king guy, he's not working for me today. Sorry about that. That's breaking kayfabe. That is a big no-no. So what happens if one of my talents does that? So don't break immersion, yeah. Now what if one of my talents starts talking about their real life stuff? Their real life problems? Their real life family members that don't exist for the character? Never go mask off, exactly. What should the punishment be? I'm trying to make money, so I can't punish them by suspending them from doing streaming. Because that hurts me. Do I fine them? Give them a nice little fine? How much would the fine be? Now, let's say they go on Twitter and they start going all political for some reason, one way or another. What should the punishment be? I'm not being rhetorical, I'm actually asking. Because this stuff will need to be laid out in the contract. Probably do it in layers. You know, layer 1, minor infraction, $50 fine. If it's a bigger infraction, $100, maybe $150. If it's a major one, ooh, this is another thing we have to think about. So I'm saying all of this businessman stuff, and that's all nice and dandy. Let me give you a scenario, chat. Let me give you a scenario. Apple Cider Tea is doing a stream, and she's having a really hard time with some real life stuff. Grandma got cancer, and she's going through chemo. And so in the middle of the stream, she just kind of stops and breaks down and cries. Be like, sorry, I can't be Jackie Smith today. My grandma's going through all of this horrible stuff. Cry, 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 tear, tear, tear. Obviously, she just broke kayfabe in a severe way. So that means that needs a major fine for what she just did. Let's think about this in a non-businessman perspective, but a what's the word I'm looking for? Optics perspective. Everyone is being all sad on Twitter, giving thoughts and prayers. You know, let's hope for Jackie Smith's grandma to do well, and then to find out the human perspective. The team had just fined her $500 after she just found out her grandma had cancer. How would that look for me? How would that look? You know damn well I would be eaten alive if I did that. What am I to do in that scenario? These are the type of things that a lot of people don't think about. Yeah, I could be a maniacal robot. And I could just be like, rules is rules. And technically I will be correct. But we all know that's not how this thing goes. Yeah, depending on some context, it's a case of giving him a warning. But a major infraction like that, I can't just give him a warning for that. So what am I to do? What am I to do in this made-up scenario? I got enough stress running the business. This new product line I'm trying to do. I get all this other stuff I'm trying to worry about. Now I got this slapped on me. What the hell? I didn't make this company so I can have more stuff to worry about. This shouldn't be on me. Kill the character. I can't kill the character. Obviously, I will let them take time off. Things going on in life. I would not force them to stream. But let's say they found out that morning. They were asked, "Are you okay to stream?" They said, "Yeah, I'm all good to go." They began streaming. An hour in. Wow, wow, wow. God, that's... Don't think like that, please. I'm not purposely being an asshole. I'm working with the made-up scenario. You see, even with this made-up scenario, what I just did could destroy me. So it's a very delicate thing I have to do. But what can I do? These are the type of things I need to worry about with this VTuber company. So I gotta make sure they're all up to snuff. I gotta make sure that all of the needs are covered. It's a two-way street with how my character will go. Or how my company would go. I'm gonna demand a lot more from you. But I will provide a lot more for you. That is how I wish to run this company. But again, what happens if she can't make enough money to cover her stuff? Let's go back here. Okay, should just have instead. This contract penalties for breaking kayfabe. We got that. We'll have to iron out time off and what to do if sick, etc. Basically, just things happen, so they can't work. And what happens if they just can't cover it? For example, so for this stream, an hour in, there's not been a single super chat, no sales. No, I've made no money so far, and that's something which I'm gonna have to eat. What happens if something like this keeps happening for the VTuber? At what point do I cut my losses? Should I have a set cutoff point where, 3 months in, you can't even break 1,000, we're done? What happens then? I gotta think about these scenarios. Do I fire the actress and get a second actress? How do I explain the voice change? How do I explain the slight mannerism change? Things along those lines. How do I work with these delicate situations? Yeah, but again, Prime Load Gaming, for the probational period, if I do 6 months or if I do 3 months, let's say the 3 months pass, everyone's gotten used to her. Let's say people like her. She is a fun VTuber. She's great. No complaints. But they're just not super chatting. They're just not becoming members. It's not enough. Or maybe they are, it's just not enough. Yeah, since the kayfabe is a product, you can't just graduate a character. These are the type of things that I have to worry about. And these are the type of things that could sink me, that could destroy the VTuber company, and take me and Dragon's Treasure along with it. So I gotta make damn sure that all of these things are covered. Because I cannot let one little itty bitty thing happen that just unravels everything. And that's the main reason why I keep telling people for the past 2 years why I'm not gonna be running a VTuber company is I don't have experience in any of this. I don't have the background knowledge. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know what's expected. I don't know what the industry average is. I don't know any of that. I could hire consultants, but that's even more money then. And that's really been the secret of this entire stream. To show you just how complicated this gets from the business perspective to make sure I can survive. What other people who would work for this company have I forgotten about that I will need to pay a salary to? Do I have advertising listed anywhere? I do not. Let's go ahead and add that. Costs. Advertising. Again. I don't know. A lot. So these are all many, many horrible problems. What is this? Go away. That I need to find a way to deal with. I wondered how much VTuber agencies actually run on a deficit. Again, I don't know how to answer any of these. Let's do this. Let's figure this out. So let's say so a line for a new meetup scenario. Let's do some math on the fly. We got 5 talents, all with the 5K a month deal. They have one manager also making 5K a month to deal with all of them. So we're just that. So if we go the 80-20 route, let's say they all on average make 6K, which means 1K divided, which means 200 for me. Per talent, which means 1K profit for the business. I still gotta pay the manager. I'm still down $4,000 in this scenario. That's not good. What's going on over here in chat? Yeah, commissioning incidental art, splash screens, etc. Very important sex sells. That's nothing I gotta worry about. I don't want to be that type of VTuber agency. Like, I understand risque jokes are gonna happen, but I don't want to basically be a melody, if you know what I mean. %me, 20% talents? No, that would not fly. No. Think of it like this. The shoujo was ripped apart when they found out it was 50-50. No, it's 80% towards them, 20% towards me. That's how it would have to work. Would a manager's salary be possible through a percent cut from the talents they manage? No. I'll bring this up on screen. Would it be possible for a percent cut from the talents they manage? No. Because let's say in this scenario, if they get a cut, they're still going to be short, a couple of $1,000s for just living for that month. That means they will need to get a second job doing something else in order to survive. If they get that second job, they can't be managing the talents. That needs to be a full-time thing. To manage 5 talents, you cannot do that on a whim. It's 5K a month, right? That's 60K a year guaranteed. And I can mess around with it. This is just my made-up scenario. So I can do less if need be, but I need the talents to be able to always be there and focus on what they need to do. And I'm talking about, my needs and whatnots, and I gotta get my shit right, but at the same time, I need to be fair to the talents. I cannot be pulling a Niji Sanji. I definitely can't be pulling a Vshoujo. I can't be screwing them. I have to do what I can to keep them happy as well. That's one hell of a balancing act. If I do too low, let's say I do 2K a month, and they can't even hit that, they're gonna need to get another job. If they get another job, they can't be focusing on the VTubing, they can't be doing the lessons or the classes. That's not gonna work too well. See the problems that come up with this? It's not easy. It is not an easy thing to take care of. So if I do the 5K thing, they would need to, through super chats, through memberships, through merch sales, through tea sales with the coupon code, they will each need to make about $10,000 a month on average. Then comes the next question. Let's say they really build themselves up. They do a lot of stuff to build themselves up. They're making like, 10, 15,000 a month because they're doing so good. Is it taking in exchange rates? Like overseas? No. I have not gone that far, no. Yeah, but everything above the limit is split 80% to them. Yes. Well, let's do this type of scenario. Someone really pops off. They get 1 million. Let's not go that far. They get 500,000 subscribers. They're making like 20,000 a month. If I do the split everyone's talking about, 20,000 a month. So what's 20% of the 15,000? 20% of 15,000, it's $3,000. They're only gonna get $3,000 on top of all that. So $8,000 total. If you decide to do your own thing with that many subscribers and that many super chats, you could just be making that 20,000, not 8,000. Because now I'm screwing them, and now this comes out, oh, Teaman is screwing his top talent. Teaman is really making things bad for them. Again, these are things I need to think about. Because that's gonna look really bad on me. It doesn't matter if logically this is how it pans out. VTuber fans are not always the most logical. I should know, I'm a VTuber fan. Honestly, I'd be a bit concerned with that mascot-based VTuber agency is far more corporate than any other company. Kind of is, yeah. It seems like what makes VTubers appealing might not be so compatible with the corporate world. I think that's what the status quo is saying. It's why I make the distinction. Because if you look at Gorgura and what happened with that, she's someone who just wanted to do the yapping. She just wanted to yap. She did not want to do any of the idle stuff. That's why a lot of them quit. They wanted to yap. They didn't want to sing and dance as much as the company wanted them to. They didn't want to work for stockholders and whatnot. Which obviously I get. Which is why I'm making this distinction that, you're not gonna have to worry about that. Like, you're gonna know what you're getting into. And it's why things like the idle stuff is a choice. If you want to just yap as your character, I am completely fine with that. Yap away. But if you want to go the idle route, it's gotta be a commitment. You can't just half-ass it. Which is why I have to lay down all of these rules for that. Heavy as the crown and the king's head. What was that other saying? The sword of Damocles? Something like that, but for VTubers. Maybe? But I don't think so because she's she's gone back to being the face of VTubing. So, nothing's changed. Like, Saba is once again one of if not the top. Nah, she's not the top again, but she's one of the top talents in the whole planet. And there was that thing when she began streaming Resident Evil. She was talking about just how happy she was that she was just streaming for everybody again and doing what she was doing. So I know people are saying this, but I don't think that was it. Because otherwise she just went right back to doing the thing that made her quit, allegedly. Is that the audience might not come? That is another concern. People might just not like it. I don't think so. I've thought about that. But I think they'll like it just because nobody is... we know what's going on. Like, I know what's going on. The VTuber knows what's going on. The audience knows what's going on. Think of it like wrestling. Like, we know it's fake, but we're pretending it's real. If the first phase of everything works out well, I can look into the second phase, which is opening it up to regular VTubers and just not associated with the T-waifus. But not until the first phase gets done, because I need to leverage what I have, and what I have is the T-waifus, the established business. I need to work with all of that. Welcome to business chat. Do you see how complicated this gets? How many interlocking pieces there is to this type of thing? It's why you cannot go with the mindset of love and passion will guide me. No, 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 no. Way too much shit happens that love and passion will have no voice when that stuff happens. But something I was saying earlier. So what happens if, let's say, one of my talents 2 years in blows up? They get that 500,000 subscriber stuff and they decide, you know what? I have my own audience. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quit. And I'm gonna let people know, hey, I'm switching over to my own independent thing. I know everyone loves the idea of, you know, the VTubers going to do their own independent thing. But that's gonna fuck me. That's gonna fuck me hard. I put in all of this time, all of this energy, all of this money, all of this risk to help build them up from nothing. And when they become something from that nothing, with all that stuff which I put into them, they're just gonna be able to walk away? No. Fuck that. There's gotta be something in the contract that says you can't just do that. And I don't know what it's gonna look like. Hopefully the lawyers I hired will. But these are the type of things I need to think about. And unless you only hire talents who are already big. But if they're already big, why would they want to work for me now? Why would they want to take a pay cut? There's no way they will want that. You know, hey, you built up an audience. Let me steal that audience and pay you less. They wouldn't go for that. So the goal would be to build those talents up. Hear me out. Make them buy a quantity of tea to offset your losses. I don't think I can play that game. And it's got to be a give and take, because while I'm putting the businessman first for this, there is also the Teaman. I have to make sure that they're happy and they're comfortable. So how am I going to properly do that? Again, if I want to do the animations, the music for them, the backdrops, all of these other things that will cost money. Add all of it up. And that means a lot of money. And I only have so much myself. You know, I'm still working on things. I just, dropped almost $3,000 on a new coffee roaster. I think corpos like Holo have the contract set up where you serve X amount of time, then you can resign or graduate. Yeah, I could do a time thing as well. What happens if they want to quit like halfway through that time thing? All these little things that will need to be ironed out in the contract. Which I'll be completely transparent with. Let me see something real quick. Give me 1 second, chat. What is the talent revenue split for the VTuber agency idol? Because they posted images of that, I believe. They were transparent about that. Okay. Let me pull this up on screen. We'll read this together. VTuber Agency Idol, also known as Idol Corp, now Chroma Shifts, has previously stated the talent revenue split is 60% to the talents, 25% to Idol Corp, additional 50% indirectly provides you talents in the form of expense coverage, including costs for video editors, music production, games, equipment, and more. Okay, this changes a lot. Wait, this means talents effectively receive 75% of the revenue from their VTuber activities, meaning 25% is retained by the company to cover operational costs, salaries, and investment in growth and future debuts. So this changes things. They have a 75-25 split? Interesting. What is this? Yep. 25 idols, 75% talent. So maybe I don't have to do the 80-20 thing. Thinking. So what if after the $5,000 point, we do 50-50? Because I am paying them. So let's analyze the potential good and bad. So they're starting out 5,000, they hit the 5,000, they make it up to 6,000, $7,000. 50-50, if they do 7,000, I get 1,500, they get the 6,500. Wait, no, that's wrong. I get 1,000, they get the other 1,000. And with that, they get 6,000, I only get 1,000 still, but it's better. But what if they're bringing in the 20,000 then? 50-50? Well, then by that point, it's kind of even. Because they'll be getting 10,000 because it's 5,000. Okay, I should be doing this on paper, not in my head. So if they're making 20,000 in super chats, minus the 5,000 getting, that's 15,000. Split that in half, 7,500. So I get 7,500. They get the 7,500 plus that 5,000. Which would be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,500. If we did that, do some more math here. What percent is 12,500 from 20,000? Okay, don't show me the math. Then they would still be getting 62.5%. Which I would think would be fair considering how we started out. Man, this is pretty difficult. What if a talent is a jack of all trades and wants to handle some of those things on their own? Then we would renegotiate. Okay, this is more doable now that I think about it. So in the beginning, they get that 5,000, and then after that 5,000, I'm thinking about something else right now. Hold on. Give me 1 second. No, not the one. 1 second. I'm trying to look something up so we can get a more clearer picture of everything. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have to close this up soon. Looking up stuff. The alternate. Yep, that's her. Wait. Bam. Copy. I'll show you guys what I'm doing in a sec. There we go. Let's share this tab. Let me make sure you can see it. You can see it. Okay. So Steph the Alternate, which is one of my affiliates.
You picked the wrong house, fool!
Who picked the wrong house? Sour Apple just subscribed. Thank you for joining us, Sour Apple. Alright, 132k subscribers. Lots of views. 42 million. That's a lot of views. A lot of videos. Video stats, single channels. Where can I go to see? That's views. Estimated monthly earnings. Estimated yearly. That's a big gap. 76,000. Okay, so let's say the VTuber has got a lot of subscriptions, you know, over 100,000. And they're at the point where they're making, let's say, 76,000 a year in super chats, memberships, etc. Half of 76,000. Again, my brain is just not functioning because didn't sleep at all last night. 76 divided by 2. It's $38,000. If I kept the 50-50 splits, actually no, because they would still get the 60,000. So $38,000 from that, not times, plus the 60,000 they will be getting from just the base pay. That's still $98,000 they're going to be getting. And I'm only going to be getting, what's that, 38,000. See, that still doesn't even feel fair to me. Well, Mr. Dragon talked himself into giving it a shot later on. No. The whole point of this is to show that how complicated and difficult this is. So I will not be talking myself into this. The way I describe it is, when my business is so big, it becomes a nationally known staple, then I can look into it. Because then I would have the money to hire enough consultants and whatnot to make this thing run. Don't forget, again, the T sales, much sales, and other forms of revenue, yeah. So I suppose, here, let's do this. Let's do some math. At what point would people want to say that, hey, you're not being fair? Let's say they become massive. They get $1 million a year in super chats, sales, etc. Obviously, divided by 2, that's going to be $500,000. Yeah, but where's the calculator? Yeah. Okay. So $500,000 plus the 60,000 minimum. 500. What? Did I do that correctly? No, I did not. I messed something up. 60K. I did mess that up. I put way too many zeros. Okay. Clear. 560. Oh. That's how much money they're going to be making. $560,000. And then I will get $500,000. They'll still be making more than me. But would they feel that that's still not fair? Because at that point, if they're making that much money, again, why would they not just go indie? Make that money back from doing their own thing. The split stuff can get kind of complicated. Maybe a tiered system per gen to keep standout success. 50% for everything between 5 and 20k, 60% 20 and 35k. Something like that could work as well. Keep standouts around to promote the smaller ones by allowing them to keep more. How much more? If you're making more, wouldn't you be investing more into them? Actually, even at that point, because it's not that we're making $500,000 if they were making $1 million. It's, we will get that $500,000, split it to the managers, the clippers, the editors, etc., etc., etc. And so I would see a very little amount of money from that. Like, what would be my net profit if I finally have one that's all the way up to $1 million a year? Which is not an easy thing to get. Let's say they're bringing in $100,000. I have 5 talents, they're bringing in $100,000. The 60,000 plus the splits. Again, I'm too tired to be doing all of this math. So the 60,000 base, that means that's 40,000 left over, 50-50. I would get 20,000 from each. That's $100,000 I would get from all of this work. And then again, I would have to pay the clippers, the editors, the managers, etc. Describing a lost leader. Lost leader. I don't think talents are likely to just up and leave just because they know their success will carry over. That is true, because there's a lot of talents who are just that famous, but they choose to stay. With HoloLive, with before Shoujo fell apart, etc., etc. So maybe they will have a sense of loyalty. It's like, when you were starting out, I did what I can to help you. So now, please stay and help me out. Something like that. Oh, such a complicated thing. And all of this ain't going anywhere, because it's all just what ifs. All of it. I remember seeing tweets about Shion graduating, partly due to her main friends leaving the agency. It's all... Again, you can all see how this is just not an easy thing to figure out. Granted, most of this is just, us shooting the shit for this hour and a half. If it was actually going to happen, this would be weeks of conversation, weeks of mathematics, weeks of talking with lawyers, etc., etc. But the point is, dear viewer, somebody who is still struggling to pay rent for a low-quality 2-bedroom apartment is not going to be able to afford all of this. Even if the split was like 90-10, where I keep 90%, it would still not be enough in the beginning to pay the clippers, editors, etc. So you get the idea of all of this. You get the idea. It's a complicated mess. So the real point was why I'm not going to be launching a VTuber agency. That would destroy me. It would ruin me. It's not gonna happen. So with all of that, everybody, we've done a good job just covering all of these type of things. Next week, I'm going to talk about a different type of company. I've alluded to this before for many years now, and that is how I would run a gym if I owned one. That'll be part of this whole brand, the Dragon's Gym, which we'll be calling it, which will connect to Dragon's Treasure. What makes my gym different? There'll be things that'll make it different. Things that'll make it stand out. If you're somebody who hates working out, who hates being physical, who hates all of this stuff, I found a way to make you interested. I recommend you tune in next week to see what I have to say about this idea that I have in my head about what, you got Goku to train people in the gym? Might as well. Idle gym? No, not an idle gym. But you're thinking along the correct lines. Remember, I used to be a personal trainer and a martial artist. That physical stuff in my life, I knew more about that and was more experienced in that than I am with the tea. The tea can barely hold a candle to what my personal training martial artist life was like in terms of knowledge and passion and all this other stuff. but again, that's past life. That's past Teaman. So tune in next week to see what I have to offer. I think you'll like what I have because I like what I have. With all of that being said, we're going out for an hour and 40 minutes. Again, longer than I expected. Good. Thank you all who have joined us. Going to be... that's what I say in the intro. Tired. No sleep last night. Mine was going a mile a minute. I did better than I expected today. I'm not going to lie. This was better than I expected just because my mind... You could see when I was doing the math. All the mistakes I was making. So thank you all who have joined us or who have watched the VOD. Join us next week. We'll talk about the Dragon's Gym. And I will see you next time. Thank you for this 10-year anniversary live stream.